Hey, welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Ultimate Affiliate Marketing. I am your host, as always. It's Paul Motley here, and today I have a magician, literally a wizard when it comes to messenger bots. We've got a 2 club winner. It's Nico Morano. Nico, how's it going, man?
Hey, Paul. Thanks so much for having me. It's going great. Thrilled to be here.
It's fantastic. Now, not a lot of people know this, but we are actually doing this recording and it will go out tonight as well. So if people are listening, it is Friday and time is ticking on. And Nico, you're out in the States. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm out in Dallas.
You're in Dallas. Oh, fantastic.
Dallas, Texas.
And the home of Dallas itself, the series, fantastic. You ever watched that? You ever watched Dallas? Is that a big thing out there?
I have not. I haven't watched it. Everybody tells me about it, but it's pretty much as American as you can get out here.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's super cool. And obviously, you know, people will know Dallas being the home of the Cowboys and everything else like that. But that's not the super important thing. I want to talk about messenger bots because a little bird told me that you are the guy to talk to. So in your best elevator style, just tell us about yourself, how you got started and why you chose messenger bots in the first place.
For sure. Yeah. So a little bit about myself is I actually started off kind of a similar journey to a lot of people. I started off in the 9-to-5 world, just found it extremely unfulfilling. Did a career in like the software and tech space. So actually a couple jobs. And yeah, just nothing really stuck. I always found it kind of weird that everybody seemed to be okay with what they were doing at the desk. And I was just like, this is so boring. Like I don't get it. So I started exploring like careers kind of that I could do on my own. I literally just started searching how to make money online because I was like, I don't know what the path to freedom is, but I know it's not working for someone else.
Yeah, I think that's probably what everybody does, isn't it? Probably the first search they ever did, how to make money online. That was the thing, wasn't it? That was that was it. So what did you do? Yeah. What did you find out when you first started doing these searches? What was your thing?
Yeah, so at first I was very skeptical. I knew it was possible, but I also did a ton of research. I started finding, I found this one specific guy who had a rather large YouTube channel. And he seemed cool, seemed legit. And I noticed that he had a $47 course that taught you how to sell like digital ebooks on Amazon Kindle. And I was like, that sounds cool. It sounds like low risk, kind of like you don't have to buy anything physical. So I was like, okay, did a lot of research on this guy. I was like, is it legit? Is it a scam? Like, I don't know, you know, because those are all the thoughts that are going through your head when you're kind of just getting started. But ultimately, I found a lot of really positive reviews about the course and about this guy. And I was like, cool, I'm just going to try it. And I did that. So I signed up, bought the course, $47, and it worked. Like I started making my first ever couple hundred, it wasn't a ton, like not really enough to live, but it was, and I was still working the job at the time, but I made probably several $100 per month, up to almost 1,000 was kind of like the most that I ever made with that method.
But that's pretty decent because I mean, these days, and you can probably relate to this back then about, you know, this $47 that you had to pay out and you had to buy something online and it was, you know, back in the day, I mean, I remember the first time I bought something online and I was expecting like the SWAT team to burst through the door and say like, oh, this is a big scam and all this sort of thing. And my credit card details would be flashed all over the internet. But these days it's almost second nature. We just buy stuff online, and whether it's groceries, whether it's homeware, whether we're booking travel or anything like that, people have got so used to it. But there still seems to be a little bit of friction when it comes for people to buy into their own education. And, you know, and even those, you know, people will go and like $7, you know, a PDF or whatever it is. And it's crazy that conversions are still so low on even small ticket items like that. Yet, you know, we know other people which don't think anything these days of dropping $1,000 on a course or $2,000 on something. But initially, what was your mode of thought when you looked at this $47 product? Obviously, you had to go and check it all out, make sure it was legit, right?
Yeah. So I remember the decision process was very thorough because that was my first time ever buying like any sort of education or course online. And yeah, at that point it was I was just really skeptical. So I did a lot of research, and I also remember, it was so funny that you say that. I literally remember I was at a Starbucks the second that I bought it online. And I was like also logged into my credit card account or company too. And like, as soon as the charge processed, I was like watching for like all this potentially really sketchy stuff to happen, and like nothing ever happened. I was like, oh, I guess this was actually legit.
and it worked as well. You know, you started making some money from it, which, I mean, was that your like first attempt as well? Was that like the first thing you ever tried?
Yeah, that was the very first thing that I ever tried.
Well, Nico, you obviously
it worked.
A superstar or really lucky, because I can guarantee most people when they buy stuff online and try it out, it doesn't always work out as well as I hope the first time. So you started making money with this thing, and then what happened?
Yeah, so what happened at that point, as I mentioned, I was still working at a 9-to-5 job. So I wasn't like desperate for that income to be a full-time income. So I think that was really nice. It was good to have that padding, and I had a little bit of money saved up. But that gave me enough of a taste of success to be like, okay, make money online is a real thing. It actually works. And yeah, I was just sort of mentally preparing myself to make the full jump and to quit. Because I really, at this point, I absolutely hated the job that I was working at. It was like in the software tech space. It was just totally not for me at all. And more than that, it was just having like a boss and a manager that I just really, it was never going to work for me. So mentally I was preparing like, okay, gonna make the jump. I don't know if this is the thing, selling the Kindle ebooks. I don't know if this is the thing that's gonna, where I'm gonna quote unquote make it big. But at that point, I knew that something eventually could work. So I actually, as I mentioned, I had money saved up, and I wasn't like, desperate for everything to work right now. Yeah. And so I decided to just go ahead and quit my job.
Just like that.
And at that point, yeah, I literally I'd been planning it in my head for maybe like 3 to 6 months. But yeah, I quit. I don't know really why. I just, somehow I had enough like self-belief and also belief that it could eventually work out to just make the jump. And I also, at the time, and I actually still am, like single, didn't have like a family to support, didn't have like kids or anything like that. So I know not everyone is in that situation, but because it was literally just me who I had to support and take care of, I was like, you know what? I don't need that much money to live. Like with what I have saved and what I'm, making right now, like I will make this. And the fact that I'll be able to focus 100% of my time on whatever new business. I mean, I was like, this will work eventually.
Even just getting to that point of you saying like you quit your job, and obviously you say you don't have responsibilities, but I think that responsibilities are down to the individual. You have, what was important to you was paying the bills, keeping the roof over your head, and all that sort of stuff. Other people's is, they got to feed the family, they got to do this, so it's all individual and personal. Right. But you still had to make that decision. I mean, how many, worst comes to worst, if it all flat fell on its face, how many months did you have of income to make it work? What would have been the point where you thought, damn, I've got to go get back a job? What was that sort of like timeline?
I mean, I can roughly remember. So there's 2 things that I want to bring up in response to that question. I can roughly remember at the time, like how much I had saved up. And so it probably would have been like 8 or 10 months. So I had like a while.
Oh, wow. That's pretty
to make
good.
it
That's pretty
work.
good. Yeah. Because, I mean, you hear a lot of
Yeah,
people saying, like, you know, even in regular times, you should have like 3 months money saved somewhere just in case. But to give yourself that security of mind, you having like 6, 7, 8 months ready sat there. I mean, that's, you know, at least you've got some solid planning to go ahead from that. So you've got opportunity and time then to really give it a proper go as well. So that's cool. So what
totally.
that was just sort of like your first success. So what happened once you started moving forward from that?
Yeah. So once I started moving forward, like I said, so I quit. And actually, right around the time that I quit, I traveled over to Japan just because I was like, I've never been anywhere in my life. Like, I've literally never traveled. Wanted to do something cool and sort of get that taste of freedom, which is really what I wanted. Like, the money wasn't really, the important thing. I wanted freedom from
Yeah.
a boss and from a job, and I just wanted to be able to travel. So I took like the most life-changing and amazing trip over to Japan for 3 months.
Wow.
Like, I loved it. It was amazing. So at that time, I was traveling. I also did a lot of volunteer work while I was there. And I was also, that was kind of my really deep, like, exploratory phase where I was researching everything online, like
Yeah.
ClickBank, blogging, just like trying to see how this thing could really work, like, long term. So that I just sort of started exploring everything. There was one specific blog or blogger who I just enjoyed reading her content. So I was just reading all her posts every day. I was on her email list. And once I got back to the States from that trip, I noticed that she offered coaching. And I was like, at this point, I kind of needed to start getting some results and getting something really happening. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to apply for her coaching because I don't know. It's been a couple months. I've been researching stuff, looking at stuff, and didn't really do anything in a big way. So I'd rather just see. And I loved this girl's style and I loved her mindset. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to see what it looks like to work with her on a coaching level. And I actually ended up going through with that. I signed up, paid her for her coaching, and yeah, she helped me start my copywriting business. So that was kind of the first thing that I did, was just doing freelance copywriting. So that really got me into the sort of the digital marketing space. It was really cool. I got to work with a lot of different types of clients and on a wide variety of different topics. So that was sort of the first thing where I started making a stable income. At first, it was maybe $2,000-$3,000 per month, which, it's not a lot, but pretty quickly I was able to get it up to about 5-8K per month. And then
Yeah, I mean, that's decent in most people's eyes, that one. I just want to circle back a little bit because we're going to get to the whole messenger bot thing in a minute, but it's interesting that you mentioned about, I mean, you were doing so at a certain level at that time. Did you feel that to go to that next level that you needed to get some sort of coaching to try and up the levels and up the skills, or was it just something that you just thought, oh, do you know what, I'll try this out? Or was it a conscious decision to get to that next level?
That's a great question. I'm trying to put myself kind of right back at that exact moment. I wouldn't say that I felt it was 100% necessary, but I will say I definitely felt as though I was struggling to get anywhere or to make any real decisions about what to do. Like, I definitely just felt completely stuck. I was like, I just don't know what I should do. And I saw that she had coaching. And so to me, it kind of clicked. I was like, I would rather just have somebody tell me, Nico, specifically exactly what to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm really good at following directions.
So like you say, it kind of gave you then a direction to go in, didn't it? So, I mean, totally. I don't know what you're like or what most people are like. I mean, I work great off lists. right? So if I need to get something done, then I'll try and list it out and just tick a box and keep ticking the boxes until I've completed the task. And that's kind of like how I work. But yeah, I mean, for someone to give you the list and really say, okay, right, these are your steps, this is what you need to do, and then you can go ahead and do it. I mean, that's just sounds like such an awesome way of doing things, right?
Yeah. And I mean, at this point in my career and like mindset, I'm all about like getting coaches and getting coaching. I just think it's really the quickest way and sometimes the only way to level up, whether it's your business skills or particularly right now for me is like mindset is what I feel like to develop the most. So yeah, I love it. Like I'm all in with getting that level of direction. I think a lot of times just people are a little bit hesitant to do that because they want to make it work on their own. But at that point, when I got my first coach, I was like, I had already tried making it work on my own, and like, I just literally could not figure out how to get any farther. So.
Yeah, no, I can totally sympathize with that. And in fact, I was speaking to someone today about this, and what I said to them was, if you want to increase your skill level, that's when courses are good. But if you want to increase your overall performance, that's when coaches and mentors come in. Because I think
that's a beautiful distinction. Yeah, I love that.
I've just literally thought of that about 5 minutes ago, right? as we're talking now, because I had this conversation earlier on, and we were talking about a specific thing, and I said about my own journey and how I've learned things. And anytime that I wanted to learn a particular skill, then I'll go buy a course on it, and then I'll pick that up and hopefully make enough money from having that course to obviously, pay for it. But to go to the next level, it's always got to come from coaching and mentoring. That's my opinion anyway. And I'm guessing like that's probably where you found yourself as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I find it very interesting that I've always had, with every single coach that I've ever had, and at this point I've probably had maybe like 7 or 8. I mean, I have 2 right now. Every single one, I've always had a really big ROI from coaching, like every single one. And sometimes I hear people who say like, yo, I didn't get any results from, coaching with whatever other person. And I don't know. I just find that you really have to make the conscious decision to like listen and apply and go all in with what they say. And I've just always sort of been that way. Like I would rather have somebody tell me exactly what to do.
I think what we've talked just then about the shift and the requirements, personal requirements between getting a course and getting coaching and mentoring. Both of those don't do anything unless you implement. So you have to implement the course to learn the skills. You have to implement the coaching and the mentoring that you're getting to get the results. So it's kind of like, you've got a couple of things on this side. You can go this route and that route. One will get you a higher skill level. The other one will put that skill level to work and obviously increase yourself as a unit, as a mass and as a whole. But unless you actually start implementing, it all boils down to implementation. I think that is the key thing. I mean, totally. You've probably got courses and that you put out and sell yourself, right? I've spoken to a number of course creators, and they say it's astounding how many people don't complete courses after they bought them. I don't know if you've had that yourself, but you can see the percentage that people have done. I mean, I was speaking to one guy, right? I'm not going to name names here, but he said that there was at least 10% of people that bought his course had never opened it. And this was a $900.
I was going to say. Sorry, what was that?
This is a $900 course as well. And it's astounding, right? I mean, have you found that yourself? I mean, obviously you've got to this level now where you're able to sell your own knowledge and put your expertise to work. Do you find the same with you as well, with what people are doing?
Yeah, absolutely. And I see that in others who purchase, some of my courses. Like there's absolutely people who they just buy it, and for whatever reason, they tell themselves, I'll get started later. Like I'm excited about this, but I'll do it later. And then they just never do. But I also see that in myself. And I find it to be sort of an inverse relationship with how much money I invest versus how seriously I take it. So if I buy like a $3.95 ebook or something, like I have a ton of those and I haven't started them yet. But and I think this is why I gravitate towards coaching. Like when I sign up for a pretty serious investment coaching package, I'm like, okay, when I'm signing up for this, I have the mentality like I'm gonna do everything I can to get my money's worth.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And I always do.
Recognize that. I can recognize that. And I think that's why the timing has to be perfect, because otherwise, I joke with some of the guys online about it. We become course collectors, ebook collectors, and even book collectors as well. I mean, you can't see that, right? People can't see that at home, but I just bought a book.
Oh, I have that one too. I haven't opened it.
It arrived about 2 weeks ago, and I still haven't turned the first page. But you can get stuck in the learning phase, can't you? I think, and that's the biggest sort of circle. You think you're being busy because you're learning, but you're not actually putting things into action. And I think a lot of times when I'm reading books, especially when it's digital marketing books, I still think there's something missing within that. There should be a structure of saying, okay, right, well, this is chapter 1. Now go do A, B, and C before you start chapter 2. Do you know what I mean? So it's creating almost like a workbook rather than just here, go and read this for a couple of hours and see how you get on. Does that make sense, or am I just being completely crazy here?
No, that's like, I agree with you 100%. There's so few books that have that. And it's almost jarring. Like I've read maybe 1 or 2 books that do have that at the end.
Yeah.
And it's very jarring. It's like, wow, they're telling me things to do before I go to the next chapter.
Yeah.
Or things to consider or ponder. And yeah, I think it's definitely underutilized.
Cool. I'll think about that when I decide to write a book myself. So
I know, yeah.
One thing that, the major thing here is because you have mastered this incredibly well. Your results have been astronomical. We're talking about messenger bots itself. When did you actually start getting involved with it? And what was the sort of like the thinking behind messenger bots, and how far has it took you so far?
Yeah. So it's kind of a funny story. It was actually, I kind of discovered them sort of by accident. And what I mean by that is, so I mentioned earlier, I was focused primarily on copywriting for a while. And I started to get into the funnel world, so like ClickFunnels, started to offer that as a service as well. So like building funnels for clients. And I eventually got into a whole mix of different things, like funnels, Facebook ads, doing all of that sort of thing for clients. Because I started to notice as a copywriter, a lot of times I would lose clients because because they were like, oh, well, we want someone who's going to do like the whole funnel. Like we don't just want the copy. And so I told myself, like, I started hearing that a lot, and I was like, okay, I guess I need to learn like this new skill called funnels. So once I started doing that and learning funnels and Facebook ads, one time I was just literally in Facebook ad manager and like building a Facebook ad, and I saw that there was an option to like send the page or to like message as the call to action instead of just like clicking a button on an ad. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But I didn't really like think that much of it. And so I kind of just like played around with it. And yeah, I mean, for a while I was just like, okay, like that's cool. Like I'll kind of figure that out later, and just, yeah, kind of ignored it for a little bit. And then I had a friend this was maybe several months later, who was a realtor or real estate agent, however you say that. And she mentioned that she sold a house using a chatbot ad on Facebook. And I was just like,
that's crazy.
That's like super cool. Like, just tell me how.
Yeah.
Because to me, that was just like,
I mean, there must be like some, I know that the real estate business in the States is incredibly lucrative. I mean, you guys, I mean, it varies all over the world, right? But over here in the UK, the agents take like sometimes either 1% or 0.5%. And I think in the States, sometimes it can be way higher. So we're talking like a serious amount of money for selling a property. So, I mean, just to be able to do that in an automated fashion has got to be worth something to somebody, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she was stoked too. So as soon as I heard that, I was like, okay, like that's really cool. Like, tell me more about how to do that. And so, yeah, that was when I like really took a second look at chatbots. And in my head, I was like, at the same time as I was seeing this all happen, because literally like building like an automated conversation, sort of like text, for those of you maybe who haven't seen it or experienced it, it looks sort of like you're just having an iMessage like text conversation with someone, but on the other end, it's like fully automated. So when I was kind of experimenting with this in Facebook Ads Manager, I was like, my reaction was like, I can't believe this is free to build this. Like, that was literally my reaction. Like, this is so cool and so powerful. Like, I cannot believe that this is free to do.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
That
So I started
gets my brain now is the fact that, I mean, there are a few options wise as far as like who to use for messenger bots. And for those people that are confused or have never seen it before, it's like anytime you're using like Facebook Messenger to message your friends, then you can actually start a conversation with a page or whatever, or someone can do that. And the way I look at it is like, it's almost like it's not quite an AI, but it's almost like a flow chart. You know, when you like, if you know, you ask this question, if they say yes, they get this message. If they say no, they get the other message. And it's a flow chart. And being a visual guy, I love that. And building it out is just incredible. But going back to the point, the one that I personally use is a company called ManyChat, and it's free. And it was like, oh my God, this is just crazy. Obviously, you know, if you've got like, because you can actually build an asset, you can build a list of people which are on your messenger bot list, if you like. And if you get into silly numbers, then obviously you have to start paying more for it. But I just thought it was crazy, the fact that you could drop a message straight onto someone's phone. It will pop up as a message right there and then, and it didn't cost anything. It was the most, I would say over the last few years, it was the most revolutionary push forward since they brought the iPhone out. I don't know if that makes sense to you or not. It was such a massive change, especially when you think of the, you know, people getting excited if they got a 20% open rate on emails. All of a sudden they were going, bang, I'm getting 95% open rate. I'm now getting, instead of getting like 1 or 2% click-through rates on my emails, I'm now getting a 40 or 50% click-through rate on my messenger bots. It's crazy. I don't know much about it. I'm not an expert. This is obviously why I've got you on. So,
but I mean, those are really the main selling points and the main points that people are interested in. Like,
yeah, and playing devil's advocate
is revolutionary.
Yeah, and playing devil's advocate, obviously, I think the big advantage an email list has over a message bot list is that you have more control over your email list, because ultimately if something goes pear-shaped, and we are talking like doomsday here, something goes really bad and for some reason either your Facebook ad account gets shut down or your Facebook business page gets shut down, that list then disappears, right? So that is just, you know, putting out the warning signs for people, but it's just so powerful. A lot of the times people just completely go past that and just think, no, I'm going to use messenger bots because it can just make so much difference to someone's business, right? I'm rambling here, but I'm just wanted to get to this point, right? If you think to yourself, right, I've got a sales page, which is converting at 2%, and going from using email to messenger bot means it goes from 2% to 3%. That's a 50% increase. You know, it's not a 1% increase. It's a 50% increase in sales.
Right.
And if you're selling $1,000 a month, suddenly you're now doing 1,500. If you're doing 10,000, suddenly you're doing 15,000. If you're doing 100,000, all of a sudden you're doing 150,000, which is absolutely massive. And that is why I think people are still not quite tuned in and not utilizing messenger bots as much as they could, which is another great reason why I got you on, because I know you're absolutely an amazing, crazy ass guy at it, and you are literally a magician. So I'm bigging you up, by the way. I'm bigging you up. So just
thank you. I appreciate it.
Just tell us, like, I mean, how long did it take you before you actually mastered the thing? What sort of results were you able to get from it?
Gosh, I mean, I'm still learning. Like every single day there's new stuff. So I wouldn't even say that I've mastered it at all. But I would say the point that I felt that I was competent enough to start charging other people, like to build them, it was probably like 3 months or so after I discovered them. So this was maybe 2.5 years ago at this point, maybe 2.5 to 3 years ago. But yeah, there was a while where I was just, just kind of exploring how ManyChat works and how bots work and what you can do. And at that point, there were a lot less features too. And I just started to realize that nobody really, everyone was kind of having the same reaction as me. They were like, I didn't even know you could do that. And I can't even believe you can do that. So yes, I want that. So being someone at that point who was, again, I was like competent. I wasn't like the world's best expert, but being someone who actually knew how to make that happen for a business and for a business owner, they were like, yes, like I want that, do it for me. So got a little bit off track there, but yeah, it took a little bit to sort of just gain the foundation knowledge. But yeah, I mean, I'm still learning. Literally every single day there's new things.
So. Oh no, I hear what you're saying. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like my experience with building funnels, and as we mentioned really earlier on about upping skill levels, and I bought a course myself previously to increase my skill levels as far as building funnels went, but I didn't want to do that full time. I didn't want like several bosses chafing at me saying, oh, I need to change this bit, change that bit, and all that sort of thing. And I'm guessing now, like, being, there's a ton of people out there that can build you a funnel, right? There is literally a ton of people. How good it is in the end, I don't know. But ultimately, at the end of the day, your funnel is only as good as the traffic you put into it and the quality of traffic that you put into it, which I think is where Messenger Bot really comes into play, because every time you're using a Messenger Bot, you're qualifying people. So people are more qualified the more they're engrossed into that Messenger Bot sequence. That is from an outside view of it, and I don't know 100%, but that's why I think it's so exciting. And again, this is probably why not so many people are doing it. Like I said, there's tons of people out there building funnels, but from what I see online, there isn't a mass of people doing and promoting their own services as Messenger Bot builders. So hats off to you, man. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, there's really not a lot of people out there who are doing it. So it's still a very untapped market and I mean, I still do it now. It's very untapped, and I find it interesting that a lot of businesses right now, they're becoming aware of it. They're becoming aware of chatbots, but there's still not enough people who know how to actually fulfill all that interest and all that need. So yeah, I mean, it's a great time for chatbots.
It's a little bit, yeah. I mean, it's a little bit like going back to the 90s when most businesses started noticing that you needed a website but they didn't know how to put a website together. These days, nearly everyone's got a website. But you know, if you, it's literally like that comparison again. People are, I would say, they're not even aware of the existence of messenger bots. You know, this is the thing. This is even goes precursor to people knowing that they needed a website. At the moment, they don't know they need a messenger bot, but it can provide such great value to them and automatically sell things for them as well, which I think is where the world's going to as far as like automation goes. But what's your, when you actually like building the things, what do you think is what has been your successes? Let's start with that one. Let's go for, okay, right. So you're building messenger bots. Are you more now towards helping other people build bot sequences, bot or messenger bots yourself, or are you still getting great results for other people as well? What's this transition?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I would say right now I'm kind of focused on two different things. So because I had so much, and I know, like, you know, there's so many people out there who are like, just do one thing only, just focus on one thing. Well, I actually really enjoy both of the things that I do. And I kind of like, so I'll explain what they are, and you'll see kind of like why I'm doing these two different things. Once I started having success offering messenger bots as a service and like getting traction in that business, a bunch of people started asking like, hey, can you show me, or can you like teach me how to do that too? And at that point, I decided to actually create a course teaching how, not only how to like build chatbots, how to like get clients and how to actually like sell chatbots and start this as a business. So I ended up, creating an online course. And so I do spend, I would say like a good amount of time and just energy helping my students like in that course get success with, getting their first clients, building their chatbots, because they're learning about a totally new skill for them, right? So that's one thing that I do. And then the other primarily is helping other businesses create chatbots, funnels for their own offers. So I still kind of do that. The way that I've, that offer, it's sort of evolved a bit more.
Yeah.
In the past couple of years, but I still have that other service that I provide, and also sort of helping these business owners grow their own offers to higher and higher levels.
No, that's cool, man. So, I can see the journey almost laid out in front of me there. So you started off, you recognized and realized and saw that this thing was around, which was messenger bots. Then you increased your own skill level on it. Then you started teaching others. Then you started helping others provide the messenger bots for other people, and now you support that. And now you've even advanced it even further to actually, you've gone from like the student to the teacher to the teacher of teachers almost. You're going down that whole road there. It's kind of crazy. Where do you think it's going to go for you, like in the future? Are you happy to stay as you are, or do you see something even greater?
Gosh, that's a great question. I mean, they're all great questions, but that's it's an exciting question. So I recently signed up with a new coach who's much farther along than I am. And I think right now I see so much potential for what I want to do in the future, but other than this vague, loose sort of vision of just expanding what I'm doing further, and also, eventually creating more ways that I can help people and serve like a broader market, because chatbots is, it's a pretty niche skill. So aside from seeing, I guess, sort of this vague vision of just expanding, helping more people with more things, I can't really get more specific than that at this time. But
Well, let's not
definitely want to keep growing and offering.
Listen, let's not gloss over it. I mean, some people listening to the podcast will know, some people won't, that Nico obviously puts his sales, if you like, for his courses and his coaching and everything like that through a sales funnel builder called ClickFunnels, right? And if you have a funnel, if you like, which creates over $1 million, they give you an award. And for those of you that obviously can't see this right now, right behind Nico's head is the 2 Club Award for him creating over $1 million in sales from one funnel. So, I mean, hats off there, man. There is still a very small amount of people which manage to do that. So, that's total props to you there. What do you, how did that, I mean, was that something that happened fast for you, or was it just like over time? Or did you ever feel like, you were making several funnels where you combined it all together to make $1 million, or is it just one funnel and that was it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So addressing your first question as far as did it happen fast for me? I imagine probably a lot of people out there will resonate with this, but I felt like all these other people were doing it super fast, and I felt like I was just the slow one. And I was like, I can't think, like, Nico, like, what is wrong? I can't figure out why you're doing this so slowly. Everybody else seems to be doing it so fast. Like, you hear these stories of people making $1 million in like 6 months. Yeah. And I was like, okay, like, why am I doing it so slowly? So it was a combination of 2 of my offers. So I had I still have my chatbot service. You could call it an agency, you could call it service. So chatbot building and funnel service, as well as for my chatbot course where I teach people how to be a chatbot builder.
So you were able to combine the 2 together, and that's obviously helped you get up there. Was that ever in your mind to actually achieve that award, or is it just like the closer that it got, you thought, I'll get an award for this? Or was it like up there with what your goals were?
Oh, it was definitely in my mind. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people have that.
Yeah, because people talk about it and they think, and there's not that many people which have, and again, for those people which are listening which don't know, ClickFunnels actually has an affiliate program as well. So if you like, it's almost like being a software reseller, I guess. If you achieve a certain level of sales, they give you an award for creating over 100 accounts, and they give you a nice bonus each month, and they call that a dream car award, right? And there's still very few people which have actually got the 2 Comma Club award, which you have there, and the dream car award, which, without saying too much, I've got that before, right? So there's people which have combined the 2, but I still find that there's more people getting the 2 Comma Club award than there is dream car. Do you think that is mainly because selling your own product, you have more invested in it than being an affiliate for someone else's product? I've never asked anyone that question before, right? I've just come up with that now. So
I can feel the lack of an answer inside of myself.
Yeah, it is.
It's a tricky question. Like, if you were to ask me how to get the Dream Car Award, I would just be clueless. Like, I don't even know where to start with getting that many affiliates.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, we're not going to go into that because we could do that all day. We could be 3 hours just talking about that one. But I do find it interesting that, especially when they have the award shows. I mean, you received your award on stage with the creators of the platform itself. And I mean, what was that experience like? That must have been crazy, right?
It was, gosh, a very gratifying experience that I had pictured in my head like several times before. I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so cool. It's going to be amazing. And yeah, it was really, I mean, I'll never forget it. And I intend to do it again. too.
That's
But
cool.
it was just so cool, like going out on stage in front of like, I don't even know how many people were at the conference, but thousands and thousands. And it was just really cool to have your moment up there and being like, wow, I'm being celebrated for all this hard work that I put in over, over the past few years.
Awesome.
It just felt really cool and really fun.
And there's not too much of a disconnect for people here, but I just wanted to get into this because I'm personally interested, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you were you seeing the numbers yourself in your dashboard, click over, and then you contacted them, or did you sort of like see the numbers tick over and then sit around waiting for an email from them?
Oh, yeah. So how it works is you apply to receive the award. So yeah, they don't ever like reach out to you or anything like that.
So you have to do
just
it.
kind of,
You have to do
you're
it.
watching. Yeah, I mean, you have to be vigilant.
Oh yeah, and for anyone that does sell anything online and they're not using ClickFunnels yet, you should do, because even if you could reach $1,000, you can apply for a One Comma Club award, which is, although it's a PDF, it's still something you can print off, and I have that, right? So that's
nice.
cool.
Well, I think everyone, gosh, it feels great to just have milestones along the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do feel that going from 1,000 to 1,000,000 seems a lot, or 100,000. I don't know what there is now. I forget the maths. My brain's gone. But going from like $1,000 in sales to $1 million in sales is a huge thing. So again, hats off to you for managing that. Do you find that? Are you looking at the next one now? Are you looking at the 10 million? Is that your sort of like your next goal?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was I
already have it in my
definite, wasn't it? That was right straight in there. I'm doing this and that's it.
Yeah. And I'm going to get another 2 Comma Club before I hit the 10 million, because this other, like I have a different offer now.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool.
It's definitely like a lot of this is, for me at least, a lot of this is mindset.
Yeah.
And once you've worked on it at a certain point and you just have this level of belief and certainty, you're just like, yeah, I know it's going to happen.
I think it's important for people that are listening, and I know there are people that are listening every day. So going through the journey, probably the same as you, they might be ahead of you, they might be way behind you, but I think it's important to note that it really is open to anybody. There is no sort of prerequisites, there's no distinction between people or anything like that. It can be done, and I think people need to be open to allow themselves to do it, almost, and say, okay, right, now I'm going to try and do this. This is what I need to do. And like you said before, is achieving the skill and then getting the belief within yourself, the mindset to actually achieve. And going that way, really, you have to have some sort of coaching going on. I mean, it's crazy. Again, this has come to mind. If we were at school and we were just given textbooks, do you think we would have passed our exams?
No, not a chance.
No. So we would be given the textbooks, which is like the program, if you like, but without the teacher to show us and talk to us and answer our questions and show us the way, there is no way we would have got through school or college. And I think people miss that a lot. And that's why I think coaching and mentoring is so important if you want to advance yourself in this life, if this is the path you've chosen for yourself. So,
Totally.
now you actually have, like you said, you touched on before, you have your own courses, but you also have the higher end stuff, which is your coaching and mentoring as well. And we're going to make sure that we include everything in the show notes as well, because that's super important, because I can't say this enough. And if you listen to the podcast before, it's almost like a broken record. Go and check the show notes. It's really important. Okay. So, because it's so easy for people. These podcasts are like autoplay. You know, you listen to one, it autoplays the next, and sometimes people don't actually go ahead and check the description. It's like YouTube, right? You know, you could sit there and watch YouTube 12 hours a day very easily, because you don't even have to lift your hand off your side.
Yeah.
It will autoplay, and that's it. But you do have to check sometimes, and you have to look at the show notes. We're going to make sure we include it. So just tell people now, right? So if they're just getting started, what can you offer them?
Yeah. If you're listening and you're just getting started, you should absolutely check out, I have a free webinar, free training that will teach you how to build chatbots and also how to turn that into a business, right? So just like I did. So you can check out that training. At the end, there is an offer. The training is totally free, the webinar is free. At the end, if you like it and you want to actually like go into creating that business, then there's an offer to join my course on that. So you can check that out at messengerbotsforentrepreneurs.com. Again, webinar is totally free.
We will make sure we include the details on that one. And I think it is important, again, we go back to this and say, if you're listening, you're aware that messenger bots are out there. You need to up your skill level. So the first place to start is to get Nico's course on it, because you are going to learn an absolute skill set, which is going to set for life. So that's important. So for those people which are wanting a little bit more, what else can you offer them?
Yeah. So if you're wanting a little bit more, and a little bit more like personal touch, mentoring, coaching, I also have a mentoring program where I'll create a custom strategy for you and work with you to help you achieve your personal goals with online business, whatever that may be. So if you're interested in that, then check out legacyempirebuilders.com, and you can learn more about what all is offered and see if it's a good fit.
That's cool. And as soon as we get off this, I'll make sure that Nico gives me all the links. So I make sure I put it in the show notes. And again, I'll plaster it all over social media because I'm cool like that. Right. So
beautiful.
So Nico, I mean, it's been awesome having you on. We have gone for like nearly an hour now as well. And normally these interviews are like 20 minutes, half an hour maximum sometimes. But the reason why it's because I just think it's something that I really don't know that much about, and I've just been totally engaged in everything that you've said. I've loved the journey you've gone to, and where you're at now, and the opportunities that you offer other people. So, Nico, once again, thanks, man. I appreciate you being on.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Paul, for the opportunity to be here and share with your audience.
No worries, man. Okay, right. So anyone that's listening, look out for the next episode, which will come up tomorrow. And super cool. All right. We'll speak soon.